Welcome to another episode of Out Loud Geek, where we discuss news and views about pop culture, science fiction, fantasy, food, cooking, the outdoors, and more. Well, it looks like it's time for another dose of dismal Disney today, with Disney insiders and Hollywood execs being stunned at how Bob Chapek ousted top executive Peter Rice. This was a real shock when this was reported. One of the most powerful executives in media was meeting with a group of people the morning of June 9th when he heard the news that Disney CEO Bob Chapek had abruptly fired Chairman of Entertainment and Programming Peter Rice. Chapek just made another massive mistake, this executive announced. The market may have agreed. Disney stock fell nearly 4% as the news became public, a larger decline than the market as a whole on Thursday. Chapek's decision to fire a long-standing and well-respected executive in the most unceremonious possible manner set off waves of bafflement and, for many, outrage from the uppermost circles of Hollywood power to lower echelon players. There are very few things that stun me, says another one of the industry's most seasoned executives. This stuns me. Several insiders tell The Hollywood Reporter that the firing was another in a string of Chapek missteps, from Disney's legal clash with Scarlett Johansson to the damaging flip-flop on Florida's so-called Don't Say Gay law. Chapek has chosen another negative news cycle when he was just getting his feet back on the ground, says a longtime communications executive. Also receiving negative reviews was the statement of the board's confidence and support for Chapek from chairwoman Susan Arnold. Some high-level executives at other companies said the board has already sent a message of something less than full confidence by failing so far to renew Chapek's contract with only months left before it expires. You let the CEO get within a year of his contract being up, says one longtime industry power player. That by itself is a statement of non-support. A vote of confidence is nonsense. It is the most Mickey Mouse company. It's so dysfunctional. Some speculate that the board might now extend Chapek's contract at an upcoming meeting. But once again, there were the negative comparisons with former Disney chairman and CEO Bob Iger. Can you imagine when Bob Iger fired Anne Sweeney, the former president of Disney/ABC Television Group, that the board would issue a statement, says an observer with previous connections to Disney. Meanwhile, many Disney insiders reacted to the news with horror. It's horrendous, says one. It's not good for the company. Morale is terrible. Another adds, I wonder if Chapek has even been aware that Rice held Zoom town halls and Q&As throughout the COOF that really made him a presence in the lives of us rank-and-file schlubs. It was not merely the dismissal of Rice, but the manner in which it was done that fueled the outrage. By firing the guy this way, everyone else says, is this what he'll do to me? Says a high-level executive at a Disney competitor. Notes a source with ties to the company, at Disney, at that level, you don't treat an executive that way. You give him a production deal, you give him a cover story, you give him a party, you walk them out the door. If you have to execute someone, there are ways to do it. It's the lack of touch. It's like this guy, Chapek, doesn't know how things are done in our town. Sweeney, for example, was allowed to announce her own departure in 2014, months ahead of her official exit, saying she wanted to get more involved in the creative side of the business. And just days ago, Warner Brothers Discovery chief David Zaslav ushered out Toby Emmerich at Warner Brothers with a soft landing production deal. While Chapek is said to have cited poor cultural fit in his brief meeting to terminate Rice, no explanation of that was forthcoming from Disney, and sources say Rice was given none in his meeting with Chapek. Many speculated that Chapek was reacting to the idea that Rice, who has had a long career in film and television, could have been seen as a successor and might have been viewed as positioning himself that way. Says a top industry executive, my theory is Chapek thought, this guy's trying to take me out, fuck him. It may be worth noting that when Disney was embroiled in a backlash over its response to the Florida law, Rice had issued his own memo saying, personally, I see this law as a violation of fundamental human rights. Says the source with ties to Disney, during all the press about the Ron DeSantis fiasco, it's incredibly uncomfortable for a CEO whose power is slipping away to have the person who is seen as your successor sitting in the room with you. You kill that person. It would not be a new phenomenon at Disney. Iger dispatched COO Tom Staggs in 2016 when Staggs was widely seen as Iger's successor, and Michael Eisner abruptly ousted Jeffrey Katzenberg, who was pressing for assurances that he was next in line in 1994. Well, it just goes to show how messed up Disney truly is on the inside. Chapek is doing a piss-poor job as the company's CEO. I'm not a fan of Bob Iger by any means. It's sad to say, but Iger did a much better job of CEO at Disney than Chapek has done in the last couple of years. And that's how long he's been CEO. So for the board to express their support for this abrupt dismissal of Peter Rice when he really didn't do anything wrong is just really abhorrent. So this is definitely sending some shockwaves, but I'm sure that Peter Rice is going to end up with a much better position someplace else, and I wish him luck in that ability. Chapek, on the other hand, yeah, that company is just falling apart at the seams, and it's sad to watch. Thanks for watching today, and a huge thanks to everyone who has subscribed to our channel. We appreciate your support. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button, and please feel free to share a comment. If you'd like to see more of our videos in the future and help support this channel, please press the red subscribe button, and please press the bell to receive notifications for new content. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter by clicking on the links in the description. Until next time, this is Out Loud Geek.